So I just quickly want to go through where does everyone fit within the company. All right? I think it's actually important. I think we do figure it out as we go along, but from day one, it's really understand how the company is structured. Okay, so if we look at De Vere Group, we're operational in a good 40, 50 countries around the world, and we are a very, very flat structure. Okay, so sometimes we don't know who's in charge or where we fit, and that's good news. Okay, we don't want to be a corporation where you can't speak to Nigel Green, you can't speak to me, you can't speak to anyone else. We want to keep it as flat as possible so that you always feel that if, for whatever reason, you do want to speak to Nigel, you can. All right, and that's how we've structured the company over the years. All right, so generally, and my handwriting's terrible, but I'll try and split it out. So we obviously have De Vere Group, and that's a group of companies, okay? And I won't go through it, but we obviously own various parts of the company. So we own an investment bank, we've got a life company, we've got our own funds, we've got trustees, etc. Okay, but we all fit within the advisory side within the De Vere Group. Okay, how De Vere is structured is we have regions. Okay, now they used to be geographical. All right, and it was a lot easier to understand. We had Middle East, Asia, Europe, etc. It's gone a little bit off kilt now. Okay, so at the moment we have 4 regions. 4 regions. Okay, so we have, if you look at it, James Green, and he runs EU, and this is where it's gone different from a region, Latin America and Africa. Okay, then you have me, which is UAE, with a little asterisk, New Zealand. I appreciate Abu Dhabi's UAE, all right, but it's Dubai and Abu Dhabi. Then we have Knoll, which is H Hotel. Okay, so those of you that have researched it, I think, well, we even talk, oh, you've got 2 offices, we've got an office down at H Hotel. So Knoll is also UAE, but from the H Hotel. Okay, so he can do the same business we do here. They're right down the other end of Sheikh Zayed Road. Okay, so that's why I've just asterisk there. And then we have the rest of the world. Okay, so these are countries where we don't really have a set home, all right? That's more scattered. It's kind of Russia, Ukraine, 1 or 2 in Asia. Okay, they're kind of little outposts that no one's really got control of there, where we've had staff there for a long term. We don't really grow those offices, but people have built lives and families there. Okay, so they're made up there. So then we have regions. They come into divisions. Okay, and all a division is a group of teams that are run by a senior partner. Okay, so here you need to know that the senior partners in this office currently is Claire Walker. So some of you work for Claire. And then you take Claire, she also looks after Japan and China. Okay, so within our management structure, we don't condition people, it's only the office you work in. And then we've got Simon Pitkin, who does property and what was CSV, but it's being changed. Okay, so when you look on core, there's these weird names. The division we all come under is called MAB. I didn't set that name, it's called Marina All Blacks, that was Nigel Green. But we fit within these kind of divisions. So you'll see when you look at divisions, you might see a guy called Charlie Whitmore. And those of you that haven't been around for who's Charlie Whitmore? I've never met him. He actually works in New Zealand. Okay, it ties up some of the regional stuff. Then finally, what we have is we have teams. Okay, so you all fit within your team. Okay, so Munir, you're in Niall's team. Divya, you're in Tom's team. Okay, so you know where we fit it in. This is an individual's game in a lot of respect. We set up our own businesses, but it's important to know where you feed in. Okay, it is really, really important that when you're looking on core, you're looking at figures, just get a feel for what overarching region, division or team that I'm in, because they're the people that you can call on to help, or they're your competition if you like, if we set competitions, or they're people that you can freely go to and ask for guidance. All right, so appreciate it's basic, a lot of you guys will know that, but that's kind of the structure from a company point of view. However, I've listed it out flat as can be. All right, don't get in your head, well, I come under a team here, so I've got to go to that person, to go to that person, to go to that person, to go to that person. You can go to whoever you want for help. Yeah, Nigel's going to be over for a week from the 19th of February. Use that opportunity. He'll happily speak to you. Introduce yourself. Yeah, he normally does a good job of coming around and talking to you anyway. All right, so don't feel like we're this big hierarchy and you're just somebody down here. We want to keep it as flat as possible. All right, you can all come directly to me whenever you like. I might be busy in that half an hour and say, look, I need to speak to you in an hour's time, but please don't hesitate to come to me on anything to do with work or whatever else it may be. Likewise, you might not come under Claire as a manager, but you might want to go and speak to her and ask her for help. Okay, so don't be constrained in that box. From our point of view, the more you ask and the more help you receive, the more successful you're going to be as individuals, which is going to mean the company is more successful. Yeah? When you come into a new job that is a little bit different, and I appreciate some people have worked in sales or advice or whatever else before, it's really important that you understand a few things about the role, okay, and what does success look like. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme that you see pumped on Instagram. Okay, this isn't you just turn up to work and you're going to be super successful and you're going to earn a lot of money. Okay, it does take a hell of a lot of grit and determination at the start. All right, it does. Alex, you've been here a while. Karen, it's not as easy as you think when you first get started. Okay, and if you're expecting, guys, that we give you a training book or you go and do a professional exam and all of a sudden you're going to be super successful, you've got it wrong. Okay, anyone can do an exam, but the real thing is having the key criteria of what determines success. What is it for me? And it just comes down to drive. All right, everyone in here, if I said, are you hard working? No one's going to go, well, I'm not very hard working. Right? We're all hard working individuals. We wouldn't have got on planes and flown to different countries if we weren't hard working. But the drive is something that we can't instill. Yeah, so you can be a hard working person but have no drive. Right? You can be a busy fool. You can focus on different areas. The drive is really understanding and trying to figure it out. What does it take for me to become successful as quickly as possible? And for me, that is just having a little bit of confidence of diving into things that you don't quite understand. Okay, there's a phrase that we probably shouldn't band around, but it's that fake it till you make it. Okay, so to get that, understand what our job is. Our job is to sit down with people and ask them questions. Now, every single person in here and in the whole company, pretty much anyone in the world, is capable of sitting down with somebody and asking questions. Okay? What stops a lot of people being successful is they're too afraid, or it's fear really, or they don't have the confidence to sit down with people because they don't believe that they're trained up enough. Okay? Whereas if you have the mindset of, all I've got to do is sit down with somebody, ask them a series of questions, then I go back to my manager and sit down and say, okay, I'll ask them all of these questions, these are all the answers they've given, how would you recommend or what would you do? You're going to learn a hell of a lot more, yeah, because you've thrown yourself into that scenario a lot quicker. Yeah, you've been in business pretty much your whole life. I guarantee you've faked it till you've made it on a hell of a lot of scenarios. Yeah, and you kind of go, yeah, I'll be able to help you, yeah, I can definitely do that. And you've had to go away and research it to put a proposal. But once you've done a proposal and you've been through that journey with the client, you kind of know it. You've learned it on the job. Whereas it would have taken you years to have become qualified in what it was you were talking about. Yeah, does that make sense to everyone? Yeah? Like I said, we are individuals, okay? And in a sales industry, you do get rewarded for your success financially, okay? And whether we like it or not, most of us are interested in the financial gain. We've got to do a good job for the clients, but we're interested in a financial gain, yeah? But whilst you're individuals, if we can understand that there's this no magic formula of A, B, C, D, then the success comes, I find it's just going to make you get up to speed a lot quicker. Learn from your mistakes, all right? Every single one of you guys, everyone has different skills and attributes, and they're different from each other. And that's why I think the textbooks let everyone down, okay? Because a lot of you in here, I'll look at Divya, I bet she'll get an A star in any exam she's ever done in her life, right? And that's fantastic. You might not, and I don't know, I'm not saying that you think, but you've got a different skill set to achieve the same thing. So really have a look at it, and you don't have to print it out and put it on a wall, you don't have to tell the manager, but try and figure out what is your skill set. Okay, what is it you bring from the table day one? Is it your confidence? Is it your professionalism in the way you look? Is it just, you're just really going to go out there and blitz it and it's about numbers, hoping one will stick? They are all skills. Yeah, are you somebody that's naturally more analytical when it comes to markets and you want to deal with people that are more analytical and buy in? Or are you somebody that I was always just strong of, Mr. Client, you've got a problem and I can help you, I want to work with you. Yeah, I've never been a chart guy and alpha and beta. Screw that, there's an issue, we can fix it. Okay, so try and work out, guys, what it is that you bring to the table from day one. Yeah, I look at it, whenever somebody new's been recruited, instantly, that's a question I ask myself. Okay, so I'll point at Karim, when he first started, instantly dresses super professionally, right? He looks the part, right? Would I allow him to sit in front of any single one of my clients? Absolutely. Yeah, and that's a skill set. He's walking into a room, he's got a presence, he looks good. Yeah? Now he might not understand anything about markets, but that instant thing is something that he's got on a success. Yeah? I'm not naturally the smartest person in the world, but I believe I can back it up with confidence, right? So it's just trying to go through some of those things. Understand, those of you that were at the launch on Monday, I've always said this to everyone, our industry is a series of highs and lows. I call it champagne or razor blades. Mentally prepare yourself for that. This isn't a job where you're not going to get knocked down. You're going to get rejection. But you'll also get some really high wins at the same time. If you can manage your emotions to say, okay, I'll roll with it when I've got the highs, that's good, I've done a great job, but I haven't made it. Okay, because what normally happens, even if you've done this job for 15 years, is you come straight off a massive high to a big rejection. Yeah, and mentally it can be quite hard to take. Okay, so if you put it in your minds that this is normal when you're going through the tough times, as long as you're working on it to get out of it, then you will get there. All right? This job at the start is incredibly difficult. Right? And I said before, it's easy, just asking people questions. Yeah, it's difficult largely from people that do well in this job, we're all competitive, we want to win. Yeah, we want instant success, and you're not going to get instant success. So you just get knocked back quite a little bit, quite a lot. So set yourself key milestones, I would say on a weekly basis. You don't have to write it down, put it on your computer, tell everyone, but what am I going to be happy to achieve this week? That could be something as simple as, I want to understand core, right? It could be, I want to sit down with 2 people. I want to do a fact find. It could be different for all of you, but don't have this annual goal of, I want to earn X, because you're going to go into a dark place of going, that goal is getting further and further away from me because I've had a bad week. Okay, so try and find some positive target of what it is you want to achieve right now. Yeah? Munir, keep pointing at you, mate, but he's just had a BDM started. 0 experience. For me, my number 1 goal for this week would be to get him picture meetings. Whether he books or he doesn't, I would see success as if we can get somebody on the phone or helping you out, lead generation, whatever else it is. I would be leaving on Friday and going, that was a good week. Yeah? Now, if you speak to somebody who's really experienced, their goal for the week might be to bring on 3 new clients. Do you see what I mean? Break it down. Whilst this job's very, very difficult in terms of getting started, it does get easier. Okay, so with momentum and just everything else that happens, whether it's your confidence or you understand the products a little bit more, it gets easier. So whilst it's difficult at the start, it's very difficult to go backwards. Yeah, I think Karim, Alex, you're starting to realise that now of, you know, I lumbered a load of rubbish on Alex when he started, so it's probably my fault. It started a bit worse for Alex than we had hoped. But you hopefully can see now that actually with the stuff you're putting into practice now, you've got rid of a lot of the bad mistakes and you can see that it's coming. Yeah, it's very rare in our industry for you to have built that momentum, start taking clients on board, and then all of a sudden it stops. Okay, I always say it's a bit like an aeroplane. All the difficult bit of an aeroplane is just getting the thing off the ground. Once you're up in the air, you can coast. Yeah. Likewise, that can be frustrating when you're new, because you can see people in the office and you go, they don't work hard, piss around all day. Why are they getting success? And it's just because they've been through the hard graft, really hard graft, and they had that grit and determination to get there, and now they can coast. And it is frustrating. When I first came into sales, that was the one thing I got super frustrated with, was how are they doing it? Because I'm working 10 times harder than them, yeah, and they can't spell, or they can't do this, or they can't do that, but the success comes. So if you just keep chipping away at it, but setting yourself those milestones, okay? What lets people down in this industry? Okay, so a lot of people do fail in this industry for a variety of reasons, but for me, I find it's you make excuses for yourself, and it's not your fault. Everybody is capable. If you don't achieve it, it's really up to you. We'll give you as much training as you want. We'll give you as much support as you want. If you really want to do the job and you fail, generally it's something down to you. And for me, it's making excuses. Well, they're doing this, they're doing that. If it was for that, you've really got to take ownership. You've been given a toolbox, a pretty big toolbox in my opinion, to be successful. Okay, so try and instill that in yourself, is I'm responsible for what I want to achieve, and I don't care about anyone else. And I do, for me, it lifted a black cloud for me. When I started, I found it really hard. As soon as I got rid of that, I don't care about him in the office or her in the office, and I took it all on myself, I just found the success came quicker and quicker. Okay? We run our own businesses. Right, it's a business within a business, so do have a business plan. Now, before you think I want a business plan from all of you on how much money you're going to earn, all of that, I don't want any of that. What I do encourage you all to do is set up, what are your opening hours? Yeah, and when you've publicised that to the world, you can't change it. Yeah, if you run a shop and you said I'm open at 9 AM every day, but you couldn't be bothered one day, your customers aren't going to be very happy, because they've gone on Google, it says you're open at 9 o'clock. Yeah? So really try and plan that out. When are you working? I know that sounds silly, you go, well, I work 8 till 5 or whatever, but actually try and do it. Yeah? Are you willing to do an evening meeting? And you go, yeah, I'm willing to do it. Well, when? Yeah? Can you do Mondays? You might play football. So really structure it, guys, in terms of going, this is my time, which is really important. Right? If you play football, you play sports, you go to the gym, super important you've got that structured in, but actually put in your diary, I don't have anything on Tuesday evening, so I'm willing to do client meetings on Tuesday evenings. Or I'm willing to do a Sunday or a Saturday, but when? Yeah, don't just say if it comes, it's the first Saturday of every month or every other or whatever else it is. Okay? As you get better at the job and you find success, you can fine tune that. Yeah, so when I first started, didn't have kids at that stage, and I was open 24 hours a day. Right, it used to be my pitch with people that were super busy. Oh, I'm super busy, I've got a high-powered job. And my response was, okay, great, Corinne, what time do you get to work? And they'd go, 7 o'clock. Well, I'll meet you at 6. Right, I just removed that objection of going, I'm willing to put in whatever it takes at any time. As I got successful, will I go and see someone at 5 o'clock in the morning? No. Will I ruin my family time on a Saturday to go and see someone? No. But at the start, I would do anything. Okay, a little bit like people that have set up successful businesses. You are the CEO, the administrator, the accountant, the business development manager, your HR. You've just got to try and encompass that. Okay, so that's really what my one big bit of advice for today is: try and structure, sit down if you've got BDMs, and really understand what your opening hours are. All right. Now I appreciate you could go, well, I'll just do anything. I'll see when it comes in. I'll do anything anytime. That's not a good approach to have, because you'll get pulled from pillar to post. It will impact your home life. Okay, it's much better if you've got a client who says, I need to meet you at home one evening, and you go, that's fantastic, I do Wednesdays. Okay, so it's set in your diary, you're not booking over. All right, you don't want this job consuming your home life. Yeah, I know some people, families back in the UK, like Nick, so he's a little bit more flexible when he's here, but you still want to have that. If you're zooming back home, you have it set in of when you're going to do it and your work hours are set, whatever. Alex has moved his family over. He doesn't want to have to keep going to his wife, oh no, I promise we'll do that on Saturday morning, but I can't because I've got work. Okay, so really think about how you're going to separate personal and work life. Yeah? First impressions when people arrive, and I know it can be quite daunting when we're wedged into these big rooms, is everyone's weirdly, and they think we're not approachable. I get it all the time, well, he doesn't seem very approachable, he seems like a bite my head off. We are actually a very friendly group of people. Everyone at every level is willing to help you out. Okay? Are they just going to get up and say, Andrew, I'm going to come and see you, mate, I'll give you some help? No, we're not. Okay? That doesn't mean we're not approachable. We're relying on you guys to come to us and say, listen, would you mind giving me a bit of help on this? Or what's your experience on that? And that can be any level in the company. Okay, so you guys are at consultant level. How many of you have gone to a BDA and asked for help? Yeah? You've done it, Alex? Yeah? Mick? Yeah? Have they told you to piss off? No, they haven't, right? They're wanting to help you out. Right, so again, super, super important, guys, that you're not afraid to ask. If you ask me, and I sit down with you, and you go, that was rubbish, I didn't take anything away from it, don't get down in the dumps, go and ask Claire, go and ask somebody else, go and ask the BDA, all right? Because it sinks in with different people. So if you're not getting, you feel you're not getting benefit from person A you've sat down with, go to person B, C, D, etc. And it will make your experience a little bit better. Okay. In terms of these training agendas, okay, guys, I said at the start, it's really important that you do attend these sessions. Okay, so I know some of you, especially if you've been here a while, you'll go, well, I've got a meeting at that time. If it was me, I would move a meeting to sit down on a training session, because this is stuff from the managers that have helped us. This isn't textbook stuff, and I just think it will upspeed you guys a hell of a lot quicker. Yeah. Finally, for me, well, I said it before, but everyone is more than capable. Okay, you would not have a job if we didn't think you were capable of being a massive success. We're responsible for 50%. You're responsible for 50%. Okay, we're not gonna just drag you and all of a sudden make it super easy for you. It's about us working with you, you guys working on yourself to make a success of it. Okay. Yes, there's lows when you start a new career. You get that rejection, you get that knockback. But once you start to find that success, and from my point of view, I've been around 15 years doing the job becomes more enjoyable, and you do build out a decent career. Okay, so don't quit on it too early. Yeah, I think somebody shared a post the other week. I'm not really into all these posts, but somebody shared a post. Usain Bolt said it took him 4 years to train to run a 9-second 100 meters, and we all give up after 2 weeks. Yeah, don't give up. Really put in the work, because the more work you put in now on yourself, on your career, on fitness, whatever else it may be, the more enjoyable your journey will become. All right, and everything will just click into place. Yeah. A little bit of negativity from me. This job isn't for everyone. Okay, you can all be successful, but it's not for everyone. Some people are more suited to a more corporate role, a 9 till 5, a little bit less pressure. That's only for you guys to know. Okay, we're not keeping you here against your will. We don't want to lose anyone before you all just walk out on me now. Don't want to lose you guys, but we've done this for a very long time, and it's not right for everybody. Okay, so again, if you really do hate the job, you really need to put an analysis down of what would make it more enjoyable. And if it's not on, you really hate anything, even if you do a deal, you just hate everything. Be honest with yourself and say, look, this isn't the career I want to do, and go out and find a role that you're going to be more happy doing. Okay, I'm not encouraging people to do that, but just understand that as well. It's a tough job, it's a stressful job, there's a lot of good moments, you build great friendships, but for some people they just prefer something a little bit more different. Okay, so training starts this afternoon, Reece?
Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Training starts this afternoon at 1 o'clock. Again, we've tried to put something together that suits people's time frames. This isn't a session 1 leads on to session 2 to 3 and it all becomes clear. This is just sessions on the different things. In those sessions, something I've always done in my career, whenever we've had a presentation or a training or whatever else it may be, take one thing away from it. Okay? If you're sat there, I'd encourage you to take notes, but if you're just writing out every single word that the presenter talks about, that's a textbook. You're not taking something from it. In my experience, if you take one thing and you go, right, I'm going to focus on that, you will get up to speed quicker. And when you focus on that one bit, you build all of the other parts around it. Okay, but if you've got a session on life insurance and you've just, again, written 8 pages of notes, for me, how are you going to apply that in the real world? Yeah. Whereas if it was me with life insurance or critical illness insurance, I'd always look at more of the stats of people that die young or they get ill or how cheap it is, and just focus on that one point when you're talking to prospects. You build all of the other stuff around it. Yeah. If you don't take one point from a session, be honest. If you go, there's absolutely nothing I took away from that, that's fine. Discuss it with your manager. There's certain products we offer as a company I've got no interest in. Me as an individual, no interest. Yeah, I just build my business slightly differently because I'm not going to focus on crypto. I just don't understand it. I can't talk for it. So I just shut that off, but I find strength in other products. Okay, so it's not I'm rambling on a bit, but it's not a manual where you have to take everything on board and apply it to your business. It's a way of you figuring out, is that the type of business I want to get into, yes or no? All right? Good news for all of you, start of the year, which means you've got a whole year to go at it. Let's set those little milestones. Get competitive, so something that I always did, and I wasn't very vocal with it, but I would choose someone in the office that I wanted to beat. I didn't like them, I would just look at them and go, that's who I'm focused on. They move, I move. They do a deal, I'm doing 2 deals. Yeah, I never told them that I was competitive with them, but I would always make sure that's the one person in the office that I want to beat. Yeah, and then as you become more successful, and hopefully you beat them, you remove them and you choose someone else. All right. For the brand new guys, you are fortunate you're going to be doing a lot of this training with Divya, Mick, Karim, Alex, etc. They've had a good few months run of it, so use these guys. Yeah. Learn from their mistakes, because we all make mistakes when we start. Sit down with Alex and go, what was the top 3 mistakes you made when you joined? And make sure you don't do them. Yeah? Let's keep a team environment. So if you are going through stresses and struggles, speak to your manager about it, ask for help. Try not to just put all your problems on the office and bring everyone else down. Yeah? Cool. Thank you very much for your time, ladies and gentlemen.